Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind.
Okay, Herbert.
Dude, it feels like we're doing that in culture.
I agree.
What do you think we can learn from, I don't know, I think of science fiction writers as philosophers often. Like, what can we learn from the people who wrote in like the 60s and 70s and even to today to help guide us from making mistakes that they obviously spent a lot of time thinking about?
I find it funny how similar our context is, even though how far technology's changed. Like, they were probably just thinking about computers, and logically they got to the point of AI 60, 70 years before we actually got there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some of the writing is about humanity's reaction towards it more so than the actual progression of it. Like the Butlerian Jihad is not actually in Dune.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of his world building, and it's a key part of the world building. I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but he didn't necessarily include that in the story. Mm-hmm. Foundation is kind of similar. It's after the three laws of robotics are in effect, and these things almost become religious principles more than anything else.
Yeah, I wonder, do you think they wrote it that way because it was such a complex topic that they couldn't quite see what it was? And they wanted to think about how humans would react to it more than the actual technology itself? I
think the reaction is more predictable than how we get to the point of the reaction taking place. Mm-hmm. I think there's probably a bajillion different ways we could take AI from this point forward, but the pendulum always swings and there will be a reaction towards it. I think predicting that makes a lot more sense than predicting the step-by-step and how we get there.
Have you read The Machine Stops?
No.
Are you familiar with it?
No.
It was written in like 1913, 1914 by a gay romance author.
Okay.
And it's the only like thing he writes that's science fiction at all, and it's this novella. And it was pitched to me because they were basically like, yeah, it predicts everything. It predicts Uber Eats, it predicts podcasts, it predicts the internet. But the thing that I was most blown away by was it predicted how we would react to this technology in increasing isolation and separation and decreasing our capacity to have agency.
Totally.
And giving up kind of like all of that. When like you think about writing a novel, how much of the world is building like the noise around the reaction within the world? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like a character itself, but it's like all these different characters that are reacting.
When you say the noise, what do you mean?
I mean, it's not like, main character X is the one who really flavors that because he's like agentic in the world. Yep. It's kind of like the bartender that's serving your drink and the tone that they have around it. It's, the cab driver and how they're reacting to it.
I mean, there's so many authors who have different rules around world building, but I think two matter the most. First, Tolkien, he has a great essay on fairy stories. Have you read that by chance? Mm-hmm. Excellent. Incredible. It's very long, and he essentially has an argument for Christianity, but within the first, call it half, it's more his thought process around world building. And I think there's a line, I might misquote it, but the gist is the same. And it's the most important part of world building is like the consistent inner reality. So how do you have hobbits, but also have Aragorn and Minas Tirith and Sauron, and how can they exist within the same world, and how can that be consistent? So when I'm thinking about what you're talking about there is that think about it as an external character, not even probably named as if you give a character a name, you're giving them purpose and agency and an identity. So I'm thinking of this as a non-named character, and how can you make them a consistent fabric of the world you've built? And I think the people are going to naturally accept your world. Like you're not going to open a book or watch a movie and want to find how to break the world. Yeah. Your natural inclination towards it is that's true. Mm-hmm. So I actually think people will just overthink that. And I think if you do too much detail, go too far, you're more likely to break that spell than if it's very straightforward and simple when it's, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was laughing. So I was just thinking about the family that went to the tea shop and was like, "This sucks."
Yeah.
Like they went in there wanting to lose. You know what I mean?
Only 2 out of the 6. Yeah.
Could you imagine the reader, like every Redditor, basically, is just if they're the only people reading your book, so they're just like tearing it apart at all times. That would suck.
I mean, some of the most popular books now, Red Rising, and then in the fourth one, the author pretty much admitted he made a mistake and just discards that entire plot line. It's just,
what was the plot line?
It's just gone. The jackal coming back as the clone.
Yeah.
It's just book 5, but it just doesn't exist.
You don't think it's coming back ever?
No.
Really?
And I think Pierce has talked about this.
Oh,
he
shit.
was just like, we're just going to brush that under the rug.
It got kind of weird there for a second.
It did.
The power of names is crazy. Even in Kingdom of Death, that really became super apparent when he goes to that world and like they aren't allowed to have names.
Yeah.
And then there's like this small cohort of people who just like in the sewers like find their individuality.
Well, and I forget what chair it is, 9 or 17 or whatever. And he's talking to him, and then he finally admits that he has a name.
That was
17. The chair.
Yeah.
It was 17.
Yeah.
And this, for people who haven't read Sun Eater, it's basically this, I would argue, communist society that he has entered, and they've stripped the world of names, except the people are people, so they name each other.
Yeah, and there's like a ulterior motivated third party who's influencing that. Yeah. Which is like one thing Mao did when he took over China and kicked out Shanghai Czech is they went and destroyed like all of the art. Because within communism, if you're attached to the past, aka tradition, aka your history, you're not attached to the party, and it's harder to control.
Did they create party art that was allowed?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's why there's more art from the history of China in Taiwan in one museum than all of mainland China.
Damn.
Which is fucking crazy. And that's why the terracotta like soldiers are so significant, because they were buried so they weren't able to get destroyed.
When were they found?
I want to say it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I saw them the first time in 2001.
Damn.
So they're definitely found then.
Yeah. You got to see them in person. How was that?
Yeah. It was cool. Yeah, China was massively impactful for sure. I went in 4th grade for like a month. It was nuts.
Well, to tie that back to world building, I think you can take so much from history. Like, I don't think you actually have to make up that much stuff. Like, of course, if you're doing futuristic sci-fi, some things are being made up, or, far past fantasy or whatever. But people themselves don't really change, and I think that's what some of these books we were talking about are doing. Like, we're talking about, it's much easier to predict the human reaction to things, because that's just sociology and psychology, and we can see how people react to things throughout history, than it is to predict where we're going to be technologically. Like, those are different things. One relies on the human, which we have tons of data on, and one relies on predicting technology forwards, and that's much more difficult.
When I think about the like Twitter was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Google was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like, I think a lot of times when people end up making the technologies that were predicted, it's actually because the people who were interested in the books made them in that image.
It was the nerds.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not that it predicted it, it created it.
It's what is it, like the self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yes, 100%. If they would have written something else, it would be different. But because like the idea was able to be memed out into reality, like Neuromancer VR, like they have VR goggles, like that form factor, which I think is going to be a failed form factor, it would appear. Even my most bullish friend on VR, who's been working in it in 10 years, works for Rec Room, built multiple VR companies, told me last week, he's like, yeah, it's dead, it's not going to happen. I was like, whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Did he say what changed?
He was like, nobody's going to pick with the form factor. If we couldn't get it done during COVID when people are really locked in their fucking houses, we're not going to get it done. They're going to use that technology into more spatial computing, into AR glasses, and that's going to be way more functional. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I was literally just like, what? Because I've been talking to him about VR for like 6 years, and he's like the most bullish person ever.
Yeah, but to your point, there was billions and billions and billions of dollars poured into that.
So much money. And it came from like Neuromancer really wanted this to happen. And it's just like, that's just not going to happen. And I was even thinking the collapsing timeline in my mind, like the forward pressure was like, why would we have VR if we have Neuralink? Like there's only like, a 20-year window where it makes sense to have it. And we've already eaten 5 of those years. So like skip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fucking crazy. Like even Meta, right? Like they use all that technology into their little Ray-Ban glasses.
But do you think they tried because in their head the form factor was kind of already established?
Yeah, via
Sci-Fi?
Ready Player One, via Neuromancer.
Yeah.
That was like, it was like, oh, we're going to do it like
Game.
this. Yeah.
Have you read Ender's Game?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one.
So fucking good.
Yeah. There's a scene in there where it's towards the end of the book, and it's one of my favorite scenes ever because Scott Card, he essentially has Ender at the point where he is prepared, ready, capable of destroying the enemy. And then I think it's some of the best writing in a sci-fi novel. And I think writers have the advantage over other mediums of story that they can pause time and you can just enter a character's head. And at that moment, he pauses it for Ender and shows that he understands his enemy, and because he understands his enemy fully, he also loves them, but he also knows in that moment how to destroy them and that he has to destroy them for humanity. And he does it, and that pausing of time to dive into Ender's head just gives it so much weight that wouldn't be there if it was just threat to human civilization, bang, done, without getting into the head.
And it's crazy too that there was probably only a few sentences.
Yeah, it was 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have such a massive impact with just a few sentences. I think I tend to try and over-explain. I think that's why I'm not a very good writer, is like, I try and I don't throw them the ball. I'm like, here, take the fucking ball, like throwing it to them.
Yeah, people love to interpret and be involved. That's how, it's like the idea of subtext. Like what can you say through a story that's not actually on the page, but it's implied through characters' actions, dialogue, whatever. It's the Hemingway iceberg theory. People love to figure it out for themselves. They don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wrote an essay recently about showing and not telling, and that's like, first you said it was overrated, got some heat for that, I think.
Yeah.
And then you said it's misunderstood. What do you mean by that?
I think it's a false dichotomy. I don't think you have to either. There's also another choice where you just don't include something in the story at all, and that's completely viable. And for the vast majority of things, I think it's probably better just not to include it. But then between show and tell specifically, like they're just tools. You can absolutely tell. And I make the argument in there that if you want to tell, then the purpose is to compress the thing, to give yourself more room in the story to focus on what you want to show. Like I used the example, an example from Gatsby, and it's at the very start of the passage. Essentially, Gatsby's about to throw this party, and he's worried about it for the girl. And the narrator, Nick, tells you that Gatsby just sent a ton of flowers. He doesn't, and then it jumps, literally just Gatsby sent a greenhouse of flowers, jumps to an end, and then an hour later, Gatsby arrives. And that's how it goes. And Nick was doing stuff for that hour. He's probably arranging the flowers, doing all that, whatever. But Fitzgerald was just like, I'm just not going to include that because it doesn't matter to the story. So it's just that question. Like, does it actually matter to the story? And does it provide characterization? Or can I just efficiently get through it? And then stuff like that you tell.
Yeah. Have you ever read any Murakami?
Yeah, absolutely.
I always get pulled out of the story whenever he starts describing food, because he just goes it was a simple meal, and then spends 4 pages talking about this white fish, and then it was delicately sat on a tray, and then she stared at it for 4 minutes, and then,
Well, do you know the story of I think it was just with his first book, but he talks about it a little bit in Novelist as a Vocation, where he would get so in his head when writing that he actually shifted to doing the draft in English because it was a second language, and then he went to Japanese because he realized, I think, that he was a overcomplicator of a storyteller as a writer. Yeah. And instead, it'd be like me trying to write in Spanish. It would sound like a first grader. That's generous.
Just makes it way
Fourth
simpler.
Grader,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. It also really helped because he's so popular in America, probably because he was writing English first, you know?
It probably translates much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just a crazy...
I think he only did it with his first book.
Okay.
I believe he said. I could be wrong, but I believe.
I feel like he definitely did what I think about when I think about running.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I write about when I write about running, something like that. I think that was in English too.
Yeah.
So he wrote it in Hawaii, like he was in America.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He actually was on the island I lived on at the same time, and there's like I don't know 1,000 people in that town.
You probably saw him.
I 100% was like, because he talks about restaurants I'd be at all the time.
Yeah.
And this fish shop I'd always go to right next to my school.
You definitely saw
I
him.
definitely was like, we crossed many paths. Who knew?
If you meet him, you gotta tell him that.
I will, dude.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to bring up like that, or the one time I sat at a brewery for 8 hours and read like 700 pages of 1Q84 over 10 beers. And by the end of it, I was like, yo,
This is the best book ever.
yeah. And I was also like so fried. Like things were getting real surreal in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't feel like alcohol and reading mix that well from like a enjoyment. I could see wine. Yeah. I think coffee and weed are like the ideal drugs for reading.
Coffee for sure. When we Elizabeth and I lived in Spain while she was doing her MBA there. And
Which school did she go
to? IE in Madrid.
Cool, nice. That's a great school. Yeah.
It was a great school.
Yeah, I looked at that from MBA.
Loved it. There were a lot of people who just sit out, have some chips, have some wine, read something. Yeah, that seemed like a vibe. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just picturing my friend right now. He would do that for sure. He would vibe, yeah. And he doesn't even have an ugly ass Latina girlfriend anymore, which rocks. That was a throwback to something we cut out that nobody's gonna understand. Good shit, man. What do you think about like another thing that comes up a lot in science fiction and fantasy is this idea of the soul being attached to the biology more than being attached to consciousness. So like cloning is often thought of as a very bad sin. Soulless.
Yeah.
And consciousness, like mapping onto other things, is thought as a soulless as well. And I've found that interesting because I've never really considered the soul being in the body. Like if you lose an arm, I don't think you're like a quarter down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
like if somebody has a heart transplant, are they no soul? Are they like gingers now, or like how does that work?
Dude, I got no idea. My head goes to Harry Potter with the Horcruxes. I think that's a great example of
fracturing your soul
through evil deeds. I think that is way more likely how things work spiritually than cutting off the arm and losing 1/7 of your soul. But
yeah,
all right, I've murdered that too. Okay, 1/7 of my soul is gone now. Like, that feels right.
So even just like cloning more is like you're fractionalizing that as well.
Well, I don't know. Would you think of it as fractionalizing, or would you think of it as the original still has the whole soul and now you've created something soulless?
This is one thing I actually have been thinking about a lot internally this last week is if we were, let's just assume a religious standpoint, if we were made in the image of God, wouldn't anything we make, like AI, be in the image of God as well? Just because everything we do is in the image of it?
I think
it could be like a degraded, like maybe the quality's lower.
Yeah, I think the argument on the other side of that would be the devil is also powerful in this life. And how do you know? But I could be wrong. And then there's an interesting one with clones and Star Wars. I think it's the second one where Obi-Wan visits, I forget what planet it is and whatnot, but I think it's Jango Fett who's there. And it's trippy it could be a different one, but I think it's Jango. And it's Jango and his clone Jango, who's like 5, 6. That was trippy to me because you see the clone growing up and Obi-Wan and his clone father, who's not actually the clone, but the actual Jango Fett, essentially getting a huge fight. And I think Obi-Wan kills him. And the clone child sees that, and it shows him becoming essentially this growing hatred towards the Jedi and Obi-Wan and whatnot. And it makes you think like that. Does he have a soul? Like, is he? And it asks that question in a really interesting way.
I can't. There's this book that I read when I was maybe like fourth or sixth grade that it was this person would like breed clones, and they would be like of themselves, and then would raise them as their kids.
To your question, or your kind of thesis earlier, that sci-fi is a self-fulfilling prophecy, I think we're at the point where a lot of sci-fi is now not sci-fi with the AI stuff, but the afterward, like things like clones are still sci-fi, I think. And do you think that we get there because of it's so popular in sci-fi literature and whatnot?
I really do think so. Like, I think 100%. I don't think people are just sitting around like just finished beating off and they're like, yo, let's make another of me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it took somebody to be like, huh, that's wild. And then it existed in like the zeitgeist for a while.
Yeah.
And then my pledged son's mom was at UC Davis and was like, fuck it, let's make another cow.
Yeah.
And she did, which is cool.
And then you get into a human population collapse just internally from low birth rates. You need workers.
Yeah. Yeah, can we clone people faster than we can build batteries for the robots?
Yeah, that, and you know, if we're all fighting each other, I'd rather not go to war myself. But if my clone does,
fuck him, dude.
That's all right.
I mean, I have a clone already. Like, Athena looks exactly like I did as a kid. It's crazy. I don't want her to go to war. You
probably care for her a little bit.
Yeah,
more
I don't want her to go to war. Yeah. Do you like interact with LLMs?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you say thank you?
No.
Do you do any emotional like response to them ever?
Usually it's a negative response when they are being dumb.
Yeah, today I was like, fuck you, you fucking robot. Like,
Like, why are you so stupid?
Yeah. I literally was so angry because it was like, for your workout today, do two lifts of 3 sets each of calf raises. I'm like, why the fuck would I do that twice? Like, I already am doing the sets.
Did it tell you the reasoning?
No, it was like, oh, my bad. I'm like, yeah, you fucking robot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to make robot a slur.
Well, I mean, that's the big thing coming back from Star Wars now is the clanker thing.
Clankers.
Yeah. It's from Star Wars.
Really? That's where it came from?
Yeah.
Nice.
They would call the droids, they were all clankers.
Yeah. I saw a comedy bit about it last Thursday, and I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
Asana Ahmad, dude. He's funny as fuck. He's a great Harry Potter bit, too.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Did you see that fucking J.K. Rowling and Emma are fighting, dude?
Yeah, they're feuding for sure.
That hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I understand. The thing that sent J.K. Rowling over the hump was Emma wrote her a note saying, checking in, after, like, shaming her publicly. She was like, are you fucking kidding me? You have my phone number. Like, call me. Like, that was what sent her over the edge, I guess.
I mean, that's kind of fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to have private security at all times, you know, right? Like, and you've never, the funniest line she wrote in it was, you've never used a public restroom without guards outside. Like, you have no idea what it's like to be a homeless woman in a woman's shelter and not know if you're going to be safe, or be in a prison. Like, you've literally never pissed alone before.
That's a bar.
Without people you pay to take care of you. She was like, I did your lines for you when you were 10. It was savage as fuck.
She's a savage. Dude.
Yeah, dude, don't mess with J.K. Rowling.
Her Robert Dilbrace stuff, I think it started a little shaky, but the recent ones are quite good.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't jumped into it.
Yeah.
She's definitely not someone you want to wrong. I mean, she basically, she named like all of Slytherin. All of those characters were based off of the Portuguese fucking dictator Salazar, because she had an abusive boyfriend who was Portuguese, and she fucking hated Portugal so much that she created Slytherin from it.
Damn, that's like Taylor Swift type stuff.
It's fucking massive, dude. It's like bigger. That. Yeah, it's so crazy. I think my favorite line from Harry Potter ever is it's when it's the final Horcrux, one within himself, that he has to kill, and he's at like the train station in heaven kind of vibe, and after he gets like unalived, and then he
hilarious phrase, by the way.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I think that's another YouTube censorship thing. You got to say like unalived versus like killed. But he basically is like, Dumbledore, is any of this real? And he's like, so what if it's in your head? Doesn't make it any less real. Which then goes again to this like self-fulfilling prophecy of these books. Mm-hmm. Like, I think people can change the world through imagining. Like I think that's like we're imagine making machines and meaning making machines.
Yeah.
So just writing it down in text is like memeing these ideas into reality and just like increases the likelihood that it's going to mirror what was in our head.
I live near Book People, so if I'm having a bad day, I'll go on a walk and then stop in Book People, because I think bookstores are incredible, because each and every book, whether it's a history, just straight up history book, or if it's a fantasy novel, sci-fi novel, a thriller, a romantasy, whatever, it just started as a spark in somebody else's head, and they worked so hard on that to take it from whether it was a character, whether it was the world or overarching concept, and put it into words on a page that I can now go pick up and read. That is just I find that inspiring.
Yeah. It's kind of like Peter Thiel's like it's a conspiracy against reality, because like it's so hard for me to write a fucking page.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't imagine writing 12,000
a lot of pages.
Yeah. And have it be cohesive, like in one thought.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard. Like I've spent 2 focused hours the last 2 days to get like 2 paragraphs.
Well, okay, so something that I find encouraging, we talked about it a little earlier with Red Rising, but another example from Harry Potter, and the third one, they use time turners to go back. Mm-hmm. And she realizes, like time machines actually break every world. Essentially, I maybe not Back to the Future, but that's a different story. And then in the 5th book, it's like a 1 paragraph aside. It's like, in the Hall of Prophecy, by the way, while we were down there, all the time turners were destroyed, so we can't use them anymore.
Yeah.
Just she didn't want that loophole to exist in book 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. So she made mistakes. Mm-hmm. Mistake or not, you could argue either way, but she thought it was a mistake and destroyed them later on. So I find that in my own writing freeing, like, these are some of the best storytellers ever. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh shit, I kind of messed up. Like, let's rewind on that one, destroy that thing, or let's just not even talk about it in future books.
Do you think though, like when she was writing that she was like, fuck, this isn't gonna work, but like I have this all sunk cost of like I have so many days of writing, and like how many books has she thrown out, like worth of books?
Well, she has an incredible outline thing that you can actually find online that shows how she maps out, and it's literally a spreadsheet that she wrote down, and the columns it's linear, so it's just months, and then the rows are months, the columns are plot lines. And there's the famous one is from book 5, and this is 800-900 page book, and there's only 5 or 6 plot lines in the whole thing. So she was super, super tight with her plots. And I think that's an underrated part of why those books got so huge. Is a lot of people say, oh, she's not this great writer. Stephen King's famous for being like, she uses too many adverbs. Nobody actually cares.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Stephen King.
it's all about the story. And she is so good at keeping a tight story. And I think that helped her just like a ton. That, and then the whole vibe of the world she built was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You haven't gone into One Piece at all, have you?
No. What's this?
One Piece they're over there. But it's this like, I think it's behind Harry Potter for most copies ever sold. Actually, I think it just surpassed Harry Potter.
Damn. How have I never heard about that?
Because it's Japanese.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I do not speak Japanese.
It's a Japanese like manga.
Yeah.
So it has like, there's 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Like different stories.
Totally.
So, it's a different scale than selling that many copies of 7 books. But it's the sickest world building that I've ever experienced, like by far.
Why? What about it?
Everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The payoffs are like always more grand, and the vibe is.
Wait, hold on. This is a fascinating world building point. You didn't say anything about the details of the world. Mm-hmm. What stuck out to you was that it got bigger and bigger. There was change and the growth and change and whatnot. I don't know. I just that your mind jumped straight there instead of, it's based on this historical time period of Japan, whatever.
Yeah, it's like literally like about pirates, which I would not have been interested in.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah,
but it's just like it starts out just like a little boy in the small East Blue, like just in the water on a tiny island, and it becomes like this guy with his friends who takes on this oligarchy government and takes it down by just having a good time and believing in himself.
Yeah,
and it's just fucking awesome.
I think so many stories. I don't know, that belief and hope, like underlying thing throughout it. Like there's a lot of stories I think that came out in the last 20, 30 years that completely missed that. And then they struggle to finish. I think Thrones and Name of the Wind come to mind.
Yeah, I think there's a long time period where things got too good, like in our cultures, too stable. And so then I think when that happens, nihilism comes through really hard. Things become very gray.
Aren't people weird like that?
Yeah, they have to like create problems.
Yeah.
Experienced it with a lot of people like growing up on an island. Like island fever was a real thing. Like the amount of my friends that like OD'd like very young is crazy.
Damn.
And I think it's just because like in paradise, like people will find ways to fuck up their lives.
You think it's all this is so good, I need to strive for something? What do you think
I think that people, nothing's static. I think we're wired to not have static environments. So when you feel as if things aren't changing, it's like then you internally corrupt or like explode or go through something like that.
I wonder sometimes for me if something is too nice, there's no other excuse for my internal angst or unhappiness or whatever. I'm like, I know I'm in the nicest place in the world. Yeah. And yet I'm still this way.
It's just you.
Yeah. It's me.
Yeah. It's you and Taylor Swift are the problem.
Exactly.
I don't have that.
Hey, that's great.
Every time I get out of a float tank, I'm like, damn, I fucking love myself, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed in that way.
Huge.
Damn, bro. Okay, a robot may not injure a human being or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. What would be an approximation of this for like AI? Because like they were thinking humanoid robots, right? And like those seem to be on the horizon, but the other one's like here.
Yeah. So anybody who doesn't know, it's Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. I mean, I think they're pretty darn similar. I'd almost just say copy paste them over. But I don't know. I think the big, at least in the sci-fi novels, if you look at Dune, or if you look at even Sun Eater for a modern version, it's more about the taking over the thinking and decision making for humans than it is harming humans. But in taking over the decision making and thinking and creative processes, that thus harms the humans because we lose that function and we just become slobs. And I think if you look at our evolution throughout time, it's we tend to try to just make life easier and easier for ourselves, and for a long time that made a ton of sense because no, I don't want to be a peasant in 11th century England and get dysentery and die at 17. But today, what does making life easier and easier look like? It used to be taking away those physical actions, and now it's taking away those mental actions, and that seems very different and scary. Yeah.
It's only bad.
I think so too.
Like I think that it only leads to a bad path. Like I think we've seen it in the new generations. Like the amount of agency in the post-COVID generation is like incredibly low.
I think it's a power law thing where if the distribution of agency used to be, here, I think it's now going to be wider and wider and wider, where some people who are super agentic are going to get more and more done, but the vast majority of folks are going to get less. Like they're going to lose that mental functioning and capability and agency that is so important. But I don't know. What do you think the laws would be?
Yeah, I think we need to have like a fourth one, which is something around
Sky's fourth law.
Yeah. It needs to be something around the individual versus the collective human.
Now we're getting philosophical.
Yeah, let's go. But I do think like when I think about all of the negative, because I could see an AI running with kind of like the World Economic Forum or like the environmentalist thing where it's like, we need less people because the world will be destroyed. Like that seems like a very obvious step, and humans get caught in that trap all the time when they think collectively.
There's a Dan Brown book that is not anywhere near as popular as Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons. I forget what it's called, but the whole idea is there's the scientist, and he has created a disease. He wrote this before COVID. He creates this disease that essentially makes people not able to have kids, and that is his way of saving humanity because of the environmental whatever, and that's his argument for it. And yeah, to your point, I think that line of thinking is one of those things where it could be, this is for the greater good. And whenever you can say that, I think it's super dangerous.
For sure, yeah. I think like Thanos is like such an epitome of that. Like it's so funny because he's such an obvious villain to so many people, but it's like literally what the entire environmental movement is trying to do. Like it's the fastest way to fix the issue.
Well, if you think about energy history, it's always gotten more efficient and cheaper up until this point. And a lot of the renewable energy stuff, I don't like that word, I don't think it's necessarily accurate, is not more efficient, and it's also not cheaper, especially if you take out subsidies. So it's actually, in my opinion, a step back, not a step forward, where something like nuclear might actually be a step forward.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it takes so many more resources, and it's super dangerous, and people die all the time in it. And because we subsidize it to get it off the market, we never created competitive markets to like make the technologies more efficient. So yeah, it's pretty much bad all the way down.
And then if you look at where a lot of U.S. aid dollars go, a lot of it is not necessarily towards alleviating poverty or like food malnourishment or whatnot. Now it's towards the climate stuff. And if I think about a third world country, if I'm living in a third world country, I'm like, damn it, give me the oil and gas, give me the nuclear, something. Like, I don't want the solar panel, actually. Like, no.
Yeah, it's like my brother died mining that shit, dude.
Yeah. So
no, for sure. It's I was listening to this podcast the other day. This guy's so bullish on solar, because one of the things that happened that I think is self-fulfilling as well around AI is in like, do robots dream of electric sheep, or do androids dream of electric sheep? Do you know they like officially changed the name of that book to Blade Runner? Like if you buy it on Audible, it's Blade Runner. Not, you can't buy it, do androids dream of electric sheep. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah,
I didn't know they changed it.
It's super random. Yeah. But
did they just test and found that one
I guess Audible was like, fuck that, yeah, you guys can't have this anymore. I'm sure on Amazon you can get like an old copy.
I bet the value of the old copy is just
I need to get some of those for sure. But like they have blackouts, and I feel like right now we need so much energy,
for sure,
and like we need to increase our energy. And like Elon simplified it in his mind to basically being every 10x in energy we put into this, like if we think about like the building the new models and building the new chips, it's just like a factory input output. Every 10x energy we can increase, it increases the IQ by 10. And he basically is like, we should turn all of the energy in the universe into making the smartest thing that like the universe could possibly make. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people thinking that way. And if we don't like up production energy really fucking fast to meet those demands, I think we could start seeing like rolling blackouts like totally in our time period.
I think we already have. I mean, our friends in Spain, they were literally without energy
Spain for sure.
A full day.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah.
It's something that we grew up with, so we take it we take it so much for granted. We don't realize how hard it is to do what we have done. And I also think that just from a history perspective, today we for some reason think that progress is linear, but damn, like humanity has taken massive steps backwards before, and we're not incapable of that, but we seem to think we are. And we seem kind of hell-bent on doing it to ourselves.
Dude, this is where people get so aggro about anybody who decides to be a libertarian, because they're like, like if you're not part of one of the parties, like you're not even trying, it's fake, blah blah blah. And it's like, bro, you guys are doing the same shit, and we're acting as if we haven't just already like this cliff doesn't exist, like fiscally, like doing the exact same shit to the plants isn't what happened in the Dust Bowl. Like we're doing all the same shit again. Yeah. And it's like, why do we think it's going to be different this time, or why do we think we can just keep going?
My big political thing right now is simply both parties want government big, and the Conservative Party used to not want government big. That was the whole Milton Friedman thing. And I think that's a problem. I just want small government. Very simple. Yeah. I'm like a one issue voter, and that's the issue.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I feel that a lot as well. Just let me chill. It is crazy though, because I think the reason we've been able to keep the debt going so deeply and keep the size of the government how it like at its scale and increase its scale is because the US dollar being like the global currency, and every other country's worse off than we are.
I think it's that and our military.
And then our military, and then through force, through violence. But it seems like the Trump administration is actively trying to make Bitcoin more real, which is the only thing that has any competition with becoming the reserve currency of the world instead of the US dollar.
You don't think the yen or anything?
No. The RMB.
Why
not the yen for sure, but did you mean the yuan?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Even there, I think they've broken the peg recently, but for like the last 30 years, they've been pegged 8-1 to the US dollar. So they're literally using it to the dollar. So fair. Like, yeah. So and because it's also, nobody fucking wants that money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
The billionaires in China don't want it.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Bitcoin as much as possible. Like, nobody fucking wants it. They literally, through violence, coerce their population to have it. They can't take it off of it. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to be it.
It's my wife over the last, I don't know, call it 2 years, has gotten way into crypto, Bitcoin, like knows way more about it than I do. And it's funny because she is this, beautiful girl, and she'll just talk to you for hours about macroeconomic problems with and how we're just going to debt spiral into infinity.
She's the opposite of like the crypto bro meme, where it's like every crypto bro just talking at you, and it's absolutely. Like the hot girl's like, fuck this guy. She's like, yeah, what up?
She's like that. So we should buy more Bitcoin is essentially her theory. So she has us buying, but we just automatic pull every time. Yeah. Dude, I've always wished I just DCA'd Bitcoin like my whole life. Every time, like always gaming and scheming and stuff. I'm like, I should just DCA'd Bitcoin. Yeah. I'm just in it for the art now, though. I just own so many NFTs. I'm really hoping like they come back.
Comes hard, dude. I mean, it's still a thing.
Is
like,
it?
Definitely.
Where's it at now?
It was not like one thing, right? But this new shit that's going on this week is called. It's this one guy. Adam, he copied like Sailor's like micro strategies, which was basically they just go and like buy all these Bitcoins and have like a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and then you can buy the stocks for that. And so now he's launching it for all these different NFT projects. So the first one was Punk Strategies. And essentially what happens is it's this crazy flywheel that's really working right now, which is fascinating. But essentially what happens is he launched this other token called Punkstrap. Every person who buys, like trades like Ethereum for that token, 1 to 5%, depending on which one it is, gets put into a vault. As soon as that vault gets enough Punkstrap that in Ethereum would be the floor of the CryptoPunk. So like Nat has a CryptoPunk. I was like, So the floor one, which right now is around 40 ETH, it buys that. 1.2x is the price
and puts it
back out. When it sells, it takes that Ethereum, puts it back into Punk strategy, and then burns it. And gets rid of the currency.
So it's providing demand and taking away supply. Essentially.
And so they're launching that for all these different NFT projects, which is super fascinating to watch.
What's the end game?
That's why it gets like very confusing. It seems like another Ponzi,
right? Because you can only do that so many times, right?
Yeah. I think maybe the end game is really just to bring more attention and degeneracy to NFTs again, because right now it's all just the artists and the people who love art, which is super vibey and it's cool. And like, you know, I'm going to Marfa in a few weeks and I'm going to see all the artists and it's going to be super fun. And I love that.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's like, I just love that shit. So that's fine with me. But I think, you know, some people want that hype back a bit. And I think it's just to like bring attention, because basically we got kind of fucked this cycle because the whole pump.fun thing, I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was called like the Solano Casino. Basically, Pump.fun was this platform that just allowed you to launch a meme coin like this, literally like 5 sentences, boom,
that's crazy,
token.
Wow.
And so things got real crazy with that, and people were going nuts on it, making like tons of money, losing tons of money. And then in January of 2025, Trump launched the Trump coin. And that was a pretty big rug. And then the next week launched the Melania coin.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And that was a pretty big rug.
That was crazy.
And then Malay launched the Argentina coin.
And his election results came back not as well as they expected.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are pointing to that as a reason.
Dude, it was horrible.
Yeah.
That took out $5 billion out of the crypto market in a day. And that just murdered all the momentum we had going into this like post-Trump winning hype. And that was like the NFT people were like kind of chilling, like, okay, this could be, and then just ate it all away. So that was fascinating. But no, I mean, some shit's so cool. Like Jack Butcher just did this thing called
I love his work, by the way.
I love him. He's my favorite artist. Yeah, he's gonna be out in Marfa.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get him on the podcast between like before or after. I'm wearing his hat right now. No. Yeah, I have like hundreds of Jack Butcher arts, like maybe 1,000 different pieces of his. Yeah, I fucking love him so much. But he created this thing that basically was around survivorship bias. And you know, like the famous image of the plane?
With the dots?
With the dots? Yeah. So essentially the story there is Germans during World War II, I believe, would come back and they'd look at the planes and see which ones made it back, and like if it was shot there, they would like loosen it or like make it weaker and not focus on that, as if like it was okay for it to be injured there, or it wasn't like a critical spot for falling, which really just like there's a lot that went down. You just have bias on this. And so what he did is it was like a gas war thing where you could choose any of one of 500 pixels. And so everybody knew it was happening at this moment. So everybody had to compete. You could raise the gas to figure out if you could get through or not. And you're like, okay, one's going to be really popular. But like I used like a random number generator to pick mine. And then it's like all these different levels of competing to participate in this art experience. And like Jack calls it networked art. And I fucking love that shit. Like I get so much joy from that. Like I have no need to sell it, and I don't really care about selling it, or if it goes up like crazy, I'll sell it to be sick. But honestly, I just really think it's awesome, and it's fun to participate like in these markets at some level where it's like all of us are coming together to participate in a piece of art, kind of for the sake of just doing it. There's another project that I just did like 2 weeks called Aeons, which is really cool. And you basically mint these galaxies, and every day its life goes down by a day unless you combine them together, and then when you combine them, it gets the life of both of them. So all of the NFTs are going away, like burning naturally, and so you have to actively combine yours and choose what traits you want to live on and stuff. And it's this very interactive, fun, beautifully designed way to just spend time.
I was trying to think about how to get this back to sci-fi.
And
this was and unfortunately what came to my head was the Cielson and Sun Eater. That's like how they have kids, is like there's one of them and then they just choose who to combine with. And it's fascinating. But is there like a book or story you think that like predates blockchain crypto stuff, like predicted that? Like
that's
if we're going back to
that's
the
one of the few things.
I couldn't
like,
think of one.
Cryptonomicon like doesn't. It talks about like security, but it doesn't really talk about blockchain specifically. There's one book that was written around the inception of Bitcoin that's supposed to be loosely based off of Jack Dorsey that one of his friends wrote. That could be like something there. I'm like very convinced he's Satoshi.
Jack?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Tell me about that theory.
He's there through all of it. The story of this book is basically there's this anonymous hacker who creates a new currency and like never does anything with it. He wears a shirt that says he's Satoshi all the time. He didn't need to ever pull any Bitcoin out because he's so fucking wealthy on his own.
So he could just let the wallet
He
show.
loves doing little Easter eggs, like just like when in the original Bitcoin, like in the first part of the blockchain, it has the day the banks got bailed out in the code. So he like loves leaving like Easter eggs like that.
Yeah. I like that theory.
There's also weird IP addresses and stuff where it's like his dad's house, his house. Some of the dates that happen were his birthday, his dad's birthday, some like the significant dates around Bitcoin. Yeah. In the white paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's why I think he might have control of the wallet. I do think it was a collective, like all those guys were a part of it and participated in it. There's only like 20 dudes, but yeah.
And they're
some chicks.
collectively Satoshi.
I think they were probably just one person put their name on the paper.
Yeah. Do you think it's plausible that that would never actually get out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing around like people always find out eventually is like a fucking lie. I think that's just like a psyop to get people to share their secrets.
It's kind of like the plane thing. It's like, okay, well, we think we always find out eventually because we found out about all these other things, but that doesn't mean there are things out there that we have not found out about.
I mean, how many people have actually read the JFK files that we don't get to see?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like all redacted and shit.
Yeah.
And like nobody believes them. And even if it comes out, like nobody believes it anyway.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've been thinking about that I don't think science fiction has really applied on, where blockchain really does work really well, is source of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like blockchain's really good at being a source of truth.
Yep.
And I don't know any science fictions that would really focus on that. And I think that should be probably a rule for AI as well in the robotics laws.
That it has to tell you its source of truth.
It has to have at least a source of truth.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to tell you, but you can ask.
Then how does AI define truth?
How do you define truth?
Damn, that's a good question.
Blockchain.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else in the world that makes me think anything that's more true from like a this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened perspective. Like there's nothing, like the only thing more true than that is something that's more like abstractly true. Like it's true that I love my daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I know that's the truest thing, but that's not.
Yeah. Even history, it's like so much in the eye of the beholder and what I could go and dig up and find and whatever. It's all about how you portray something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Truth.
with Sun Eater, that's what's so fucking crazy is like you lose confidence, you lose like blind faith in the narrator, like within the first few pages, because like, oh, I kind of don't really remember that, and you're like, oh shit, like so you become aware so many times that you're from just one perspective, and he's very honest about that.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's been centuries, like I've forgotten stuff.
I forgot how
and like a common theme throughout it is, oh, Vouta, his girlfriend, paramour, wife, whatever, has this like insanely good memory, and whenever that comes up, he's like, oh yeah, I don't, but I'm the one telling you the story.
Yeah. She's like, she would have known, but yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. That's so fucking nuts, dude. Yeah, thank you for recommending that book. That was great.
Let's go.
Yeah, what other books would you recommend right now?
Are you thinking like older stuff, recent stuff? What
Anything.
Sci-fi, fantasy,
Sci-fi
just
to like
literature,
to like sci-fi to like philosophical fantasy.
Okay, let's see. Sci-Fi Sun Eater, I think, is the best recent for sure. If we want to get older, I'm a big fan of Foundation, Ender's Game, books like that.
Have you read the Shadow series?
No.
So it's from Bean's perspective, all 6 books.
Oh, okay. So it's not just, it goes farther than Ender's Shadow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know there's 5 other books. Yep.
Yeah. I've read Ender's Shadow. I've not read it.
It's fucking amazing. I actually almost liked it better than Ender's Game. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath, East of Eden. I think for me, just trying to become a better and better writer, I went back to people like Steinbeck and was like, what did this guy do? And I write very different stuff, obviously, but I think East of Eden might be the best work of American literature ever.
I never got into it because I drove through Bakersfield so much. I was like, this place fucking sucks. I'm not going to read a book about this place.
Well,
this place is ass, dude.
I mean, he kind of acknowledges that.
Yeah, I know that's like kind of the book.
Yeah.
But it sucks there, dude. Have you been there?
No,
it's
definitely
fucking
not.
really bad. It sucks.
What I love about the story is, it's a Cain and Abel story. And it's not a framed narrative, but it kind of is, because you go into it knowing the Cain and Abel story. You're like, okay, I know there are these 2 brothers at some point here, and I know that one is probably going to kill the other or have a part of his death. How do we get there? and he makes you care so much about the Kane character, even though you know what's coming and you know how he's gonna fuck up. And I think that's just masterful. And the way he does like generations, and how one generation's troubles and traumas carries on to the next, and how you have to like fight to break out of those cycles. Like if you see yourself as a chain in that lineage, and how you can do that and how you cannot. To me, that's what it's all about. And I just think it's a great story.
That's fucking awesome. I also need Pachinko.
Pachinko's great. Have you read Shogun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good one.
Rocks,
I was like looking around, like, okay, I've got to make sure he's read Shogun.
Yeah. I've read Shogun and Musashi are like the two big kind of older.
Yep.
Japanese books I've read.
I think this is going to sound dumb. I think Game of Thrones has become underrated because the show ended so poorly and left such a bad taste in people's mouths. And he's probably not going to come out with books 6 and 7, but the first 5 are masterpieces. And I fully mean that. And I maybe he knows where he's going to go with it. Maybe he doesn't. But I think the first 5 are masterful.
When was the last time you put out a book?
2008.
Okay.
Yeah, I've written it off as it's not going to happen. But maybe it does. Maybe he surprises us.
Yeah.
What else have I really, really enjoyed? Recent one that is only the first book out, Will of the Many, is quite good.
Yeah. That's what I feel like I'm just trying to fill book voids right now until Strength of the Few comes out next month.
That's going to be so good.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I also read his other series.
Lycanius?
Yeah,
it's good.
I thought those were good as well.
I did too. And one thing I really liked about Lycanius is he self-published the first one.
Hell yeah.
And it did well. And you can see him becoming a better writer throughout the series. And I love that. I think that's just really encouraging. He just put it out. He got better and better, and people like him.
Can you tell us a bit about like the world you're building?
Yeah. I think that things swing back and forth. I think we see it in politics. Like it's always swinging left, right. And I think it gets a little more extreme every time. Then you see it in fashion. I think about like girls are now wearing bell-bottom jeans again and things like this.
I hate that.
Right.
When I like my whole life, that's always been the thing I hated the most is bell-bottom jeans, and to have them come back, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, but things are cyclical like that, and I was like, okay, what if I applied this to a futuristic fantasy science novel? So it's called science fantasy, but it's definitely more fantasy than anything because the point of view character is a wizard, and the whole idea is we take there are eras. There's magic eras and there are technological eras, and I would make the case that you can see something like the Egyptians and just be like, okay, that was a magical era. We have no idea how the fuck they did so much of what they did. Like the pyramid stuff is mind-boggling. And then, okay, that was magic era. Then it swanned. Romans, technological, swanned again. You have like the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantines, like Greek fire. We still don't know how they did that. Crazy. Now we've swung back and it's technology, and then we'll keep swinging and swinging and swinging, and each time you go a little further on the pendulum each way. But the interest, like the where the conflict is in the middle of that swing. How does society react towards technology falling apart? Like, let's say
the swing back.
Correct. Like the swing back is way more interesting. Like this is why I think, Dune and whatnot is that swing back, right? Like it is not the swing up towards it. It is the swing back that is fascinating. The human reaction towards things. So
this just makes me sorry to interrupt, but this just makes me think about like that, I hope you don't live in uninteresting times. You know what I mean? Like I hope that I'm not alive for the swing back.
Yeah.
But I want to think about it in your book. But yeah.
Exactly. So the whole concept, and it comes from, have you read The Lessons of History by Will and Ariel Durant?
Skimmed it. Yeah.
Okay.
The little one I have.
Yep. It's tiny.
Yeah.
The idea stemmed from just a few paragraphs in there. And so the idea is basically, okay, we've taken technology to a point where it has started to erode our capacity to be humans, and now we are swinging back. And as part of that swing back, that technology itself is going to erode as there is a limited electromagnetic force in the world, and that is split between harnessed for technology and harnessed for magic. And you can just think about it like a big pool. And over time throughout the series, more and more of that goes towards magic. So you'll have rolling blackouts. You'll have satellites falling into the ocean. You'll have things like that. But meanwhile,
Witch hunts.
Exactly, legit. Like the last, call it, I don't know, 10 chapters is basically a big witch hunt. So the whole concept of the series is, okay, you have a huge functioning society built on technology that's falling apart. You also now have a rising magical class that is downtrodden, beaten down. People have essentially created ways to take their energy from them to prop up the dregs of the technology, because it's the same energy. So if I can take your magic and put it into that light, why would I not do that? And it's about revolution and society and just all that jazz.
Sounds pretty fucking timely.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Are you self-publishing?
For sure.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. That's amazing. When do you know timeline around yet?
I found a cover designer.
Cool.
And I'm very, very excited to work with him. He's really great. So hoping first concepts end of October, final done first week of December. And then I don't know if I would want to put it out around Christmas. I might wait till January. But my goal was to get a book out before I turn 30, and that's December 6th. So we'll see.
Basically there.
Yeah, trying.
I was thinking you could maybe do the Chinese New Year thing, but that doesn't work in this case.
Yeah. When is Chinese New Year?
Well, just it's like off, like the year's off, but it's your actual birthday, then it isn't. It's like, because February will be the new year. Yeah. Usually. Oh, well. Sometimes it's January, sometimes December, but this year it's like February.
Yeah, it's okay. That arbitrary deadline gives me the move faster.
Freedom. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Well, fuck yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out today, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you. I really like your writing, especially because right now I'm trying to work on building a world, and I'm so bad at writing that like reading your stuff gives me frameworks and things to think about in ways that make it more fun, because I can go in and be like, cool, I have something to do, like think about. And like the one thing that has been really useful too is pulling me to the end and trying to think of starting like having the gravitational force that's guiding the story like through. It's been cool.
No, I do that because when I started getting serious about writing, I didn't do that, and everything just wandered all over the place.
That's like how I exist too. Like, very tangential. So like trying to hone it in it's been fun though, dude. I have such a sick writing setup right now. Go on my rooftop now that it's not too hot in the morning. Coffee, 7:30, 8 a.m. Nice. It's like I have the whole view of all of Austin right on the lake, and I'm just like, this fucking rocks. And I sit and like I'm just trying to get 45 minutes in at a time.
Dope. But do you do it by minute or by word count, or how do you
minute?
Nice.
Yeah. My best friend and I are just basically trying not to miss a day, texting each other every day, like how many minutes we wrote. And then, he just wants to make movies. This is really all I'm making is just a very short story to put into a manga.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, for sure. Dope. You know what I thought about reading actually? What's that would be cool for this, because I wouldn't mind expanding the universe later, but this is just to launch some clothes. But like is going back and reading chapter 7 from Fight Club, because that was the original. That's what started. Chapter 7 was a creative writing piece that he did in school.
That's sick.
And it was just that chapter, and then he expanded off of it to become Fight Club.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
So I was thinking about going back and rewriting that.
Do it.
Where can people subscribe and shit?
NathanBaugh.substack.com.
Dope. Hell yeah. Dude, it's crazy. Like seeing how many subscribers you have on your newsletter gives me so much hope about people loving fiction.
It's weird.
I fucking was like, holy shit, I didn't know there's so much, because everybody talks about nonfiction constantly, and it's like so fucking annoying, and I hate it. Like, where all the fiction boys at? And it's like, there they are, they're on Nathan's newsletter. Like, these many people are this into this shit. This rocks. Like, it just shows you can like just build something really interesting that you love. You know what I mean?
I never expected that many people to be interested in storytelling, specifically when I sometimes will pull stuff from nonfiction, but it's much more from fiction. Like I'll reference Kite Runner, Gatsby. I'll reference Sun Eater, like Gone Girl.
Even
like
just
all
hearing
this
Kite
stuff.
Runner, my butthole hurt, dude. Visceral reaction.
Oh no.
Visceral reaction.
Yeah, an incredible book, but man, that
So
that
tough.
one scene. Is
Well, dude, it's fucked up too
insane.
because Rogan keeps talking about Afghanistan. He's like, "Did you guys know they fuck boys over there?" It's like, yeah, dude, I've known that my entire life because of
'Cause I
Kite
read
Runner. It
this book.
sucks, dude. Like, you're just getting online to this shit, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Is that where we end it?
That's where we end it. All right. No, for real. Any final parting thoughts?
No, I love talking about stories and storytelling, and so thanks for having me.
Fuck yeah, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for your attention. Peace.